morning and thank you for joining us here tonight on Halton News. It's Thursday, July 16th, and I'm Jessica Kading. A large portion of Guelph Line is currently closed near McLaren Road in Milton after a head-on collision. It was a dump truck and a Ford pickup truck that collided and left the pickup truck driver stuck and injured. He has been rushed to hospital while the driver of the dump truck did not sustain any injuries. The road closure continues as the crash is being investigated, and the road also needed to be cleaned up after diesel spilled due to the crash. Any witnesses are asked to call police at 905-825-4747. Only one new positive case of COVID-19 and two more probable cases in Halton since yesterday. The region is now reporting a total of 41 active cases in Halton. Broken down by municipality, you can see that that's 10 cases in Burlington, 13 in Oakville, 16 in Milton, and 2 in Halton Hills. Taking a look now at all the cases in our region since early March, out of 885 total confirmed and probable cases, 99 had cases severe enough to warrant hospitalization, which is 11% of the total cases. There are 4 people currently listed as being in hospital. Our region has seen 819 recoveries and unfortunately 25 deaths, 10 of which were due to the outbreak at Mountain View Retirement Home in Halton Hills, and the other 2 were also at retirement homes. The region has also provided a breakdown of how the total number of COVID-19 cases in Halton breaks down by age and gender. In this bar graph, you can see that males are represented in blue and females in orange. In every age range, more females have been affected by males. It also seems that those in the 40 to 59-year-old age range saw the highest number of reported infections. Halton Regional Council sat yesterday and their discussion live streamed on YouTube for over 8 hours. There was a lengthy discussion about the idea of making a Halton-wide mandatory mask bylaw, and Halton Region's Medical Officer of Health, Dr. Hamida Magani, joined in the Zoom conference to provide the latest medical advice. The entire meeting is still available for viewing on the Region of Halton's YouTube page, but here's a quick excerpt of a portion of Dr. Magani's update.
Science is, it's not definitive, but that there is some emerging evidence and we need to pay attention to it. And because we're paying attention to it, the public health community has come out and said, okay, this is an additional layer, additional measure. On top of the 3 other measures that we've been talking about, on top of the other measures such as avoiding crowded spaces and things like that. So I think we need to think about that carefully as a community, and we need to start preparing for the eventuality of a second wave, whatever that may look like, and hopefully we're able to flatten or squash that curve when it starts climbing. But as the science evolves, I think it's important to look at that. As noted in the report in front of all of you today, we have also showcase that there are some disadvantages to wearing masks, and I think we've had many delegates today present some of those issues, and we've tried, certainly regional staff have tried their best to include exemptions.
After discussing the issue at length, it finally came time for a vote, which you will see Halton Regional Chair Gary Carr call for in this next clip, and you'll see the mayors and councillors put up their hands to vote yes to a mandatory mask policy across our region.
And with a show of hands, all those in favor? And that is carried.
The bylaw requiring non-medical face coverings in public indoor settings across the region will come into effect next Wednesday, July 22nd. This bylaw applies to all staff, customers, and visitors, but there are some exceptions. If you are exempt from wearing a mask, you're not required to provide proof, and you are not to be discriminated against. It's important to note that children 3 and under should not be wearing masks. If you have any questions or concerns and want to know what the list of exemptions include, please call the region by dialing 311. Oakville's MP Anita Anand was recently visiting local businesses and said she fully supports this new mandatory mask bylaw across the region.
Well, most definitely. I welcome the decision made by the town of Oakville yesterday to move forward with a bylaw requiring mask wearing in enclosed public spaces. First and foremost, we have, as a federal government, advocated following the science. And this bylaw is another tool to help us minimize the spread of the virus and flatten the curve while we safely restart our economy to ensure that local businesses like those that I visited yesterday in Bronte Village are able to keep their doors open and operate safely. Also, the mask bylaw helps to minimize confusion across Halton and the GTA in terms of where face coverings are required. So the consistency there, in my view, is very welcome.
MP Anand went on to describe how a recent announcement by the federal government to invest in the provinces should help us get back to business.
The federal government announced today $19 billion in funding for provinces and municipalities to allow Canadians to move forward with restarting the economy. This funding aligns with our priorities that we have set and maintained in terms of Canada's response to COVID-19 in order to protect the health and safety of Canadians. The provinces and territories require additional funding, and we were pleased to step up and provide that. The items that are part and parcel of this funding announcement include 7 priority areas: procurement of PPE for healthcare and essential workers, increasing testing capacity, contact tracing, health and mental health transfers, money for municipalities in transit, childcare, and a national sick leave. So these are all part of the $19 billion which will be delivered over the next 6 to 8 months. And it's really good news today, Jessica, which is wonderful to hear.
I was also able to speak with Oakville's MPP today, Stephen Crawford, and we spoke about some changes to expect in the education system.
Yeah, thanks, Jessica. Good to see you again today as well. And in terms of education, a lot of students are concerned and worried about how their kids are going to be educated in the fall. I know as a father as well, I have 4 girls in school. We're still working out some of the details, some of the individual school boards. So that's still being worked on through the school board system. But what is new in terms of education is Bill 197, which our government put through, which really stems racism and inequality in the school board system. There's been some systemic problems, particularly in the Peel board. So our government has put this through to try and reduce the number of times that these incidents occur and deal with students in a better manner. So a couple things we're doing is we're eliminating suspensions for kids in kindergarten to grade 3. Right now, believe it or not, there's over 6,000 suspensions for kids across Ontario between kindergarten and grade 3. And almost half the time, there's no reason given. And quite often, they are Black or marginalized students. So we're going to eliminate that and deal with the issues head on. We're also going to end streaming right into grade 9 in high school. A lot of kids are getting their career path set out maybe in a way that's not right for them right at the get-go. So by eliminating that streaming in grade 9 and extending that a couple years, we think will give kids more chance to figure out what they want to do and get more kids to go through college and university. And we're also educating teachers more and dealing with tougher in instances where teachers may have been involved in some racist incident or whatnot. And finally, the Premier also set up an Equality of Opportunity Council for youth across the province, led by Jamil Javani. And that's going to explore different avenues and ways that marginalized kids across the province can help participate and grow in the economy like we all do. So there's a couple initiatives we're doing on the education front right now, which we're pretty excited about.
Of course, we still don't know exactly what the upcoming school year will look like in terms of changes needed due to COVID-19. So in part 4 of our education series, we address parents who are looking to take advantage of these summer months to help their kids catch up. Let's take a look.
Many parents are looking to continue their children's education through the summer because of the pandemic. Kathy Thompson, the founder of in-home tutoring service Beyond the Classroom, explains.
Now that school is out, we've never been busier this spring leading into the summer. I think some of the needs that parents are coming to us with are around what level is my child currently at? Are they behind? How can I get them prepared for the fall? And things like that. So really looking to take advantage of the summer months to move forward into the fall and make sure their children know those foundational pieces and not going to feel behind.
What are key lessons to focus on to ensure children feel confident in the fall?
It's important to have those foundational math pieces and actually practice them. I just find with students being at a school, it's great and everything, but when you don't practice math, you really lose it, sort of like languages. So it's important to keep up the math skills over the summer, and that could be through one-on-one tutoring, through workbooks families purchase. There's great online schooling right now through the Halton District School Board, where there's literacy and math courses that kids can take over the summer. So I really urge parents to do that.
A big component many parents found stressful was keeping students motivated. Thompson shares some of her tips.
Whatever works. I find whatever motivates your child, find their passion and what they want to spend their time doing, and try to work that into some sort of a motivational system or reward system with them, and always with the student.
While we aren't all comfortable with change, she encourages looking for the silver lining and lesson in our current situation.
I think there's so much negative we can pull out, but if we look at how does this benefit our kids, and what a unique learning opportunity right now to teach them about change and being resilient and going with the flow and doing things that are outside the norm and just trying. So I think if we sort of switch our perspective a little bit, it can go a long way in helping us feel a bit more calm.
Keeping calm is certainly not always easy for stressed out parents as they look toward the uncertainty of September.
And then coming together as a community to look, okay, who's in my community to support me, whether my child's doing at-home learning, whether it's that synchronous learning, cohorted, or full-time learning in the classroom. How can you use community supports in a way that we haven't in the past to really help our students learn, meet them where they're at, and help them get through this next little while in a safe way?
Reporting for Halton News, I'm Nikki Wesley.
COVID-19 also exposed some cracks in our long-term care homes that the provincial government is also trying to address. Oakville North Burlington MPP Effie Triantafilopoulos spoke to the provincial government's most recent announcement on that front.
Thank you. Yes, happy to be with you today as well. The Premier and our Minister of Long-Term Care did a major announcement yesterday about changing and modernizing the funding formula that is used in being able to support the development of new and existing long-term care development. What we found in the last few years, dating back actually decades, is that long-term care hasn't really had the kind of funding it needed to be able to build capacity that we need. As an example, if between 2011 and 2018, only 611 new beds were developed, yet we have 78,000 people living in long-term care homes and a wait list of 38,000. So it's a huge wait list, and there just wasn't enough capacity being built to address those needs. So what the announcement was about yesterday was two things. One, being able to create the construction funding formula that will provide enough of an incentive for new capacity to be able to be developed in long-term care. But at the same time, we have a lot of older homes dating back to 1972. And as you may have heard, some homes don't even have air conditioning. So all of those older homes as well will have to be redeveloped. So that is the plan. And the way in which it's going to work is we've through the stakeholder consultations that we've done, we've recognized that one size does not fit all. And so the plan to go forward is there are 4 different market categories that have been developed. And so we know, for example, in areas like Halton, it's very much an urban area. And being able to create an incentive to develop here does require addressing things like construction costs, which are very high. So what we've done is we've divided up the market into 4 categories, which would include rural, and then mid-sized markets, and then the larger urban centers, all being able to address the unique needs for each of those communities.
You may already be aware that many of our local libraries have opened up with COVID-19 restrictions in place, but what you might not know is that you can rent activities in addition to books and movies. Nikki Wesley has more.
City of Burlington Recreation Coordinator Lisa Krapsey launched a new initiative this week.
So today we have launched the Play Equipment Lending Library, and it is for our Burlington community, and it's an opportunity for them to borrow equipment from us free of charge and get outside, enjoy the weather, COVID's been a real drag, and we've been doing our part to stay inside and stay safe. And we're still encouraging that people maintain their social distance, but why not get outside with your family, your group of 10, and play something that you've never played before. Learn a new game. So things such as wiffle ball, croquet, can jam, spike ball. I don't know if you've ever played spike ball, but it is so much fun.
So of course she made me try it, and it is a lot of fun.
Library, there's an online, very user-friendly application. The application goes directly to me, and I would reach back out to you and arrange a proper time, because we are doing set times, scattered times as well, so people aren't coming at the same time. And we arrange a time for pickup. You pick it up, you borrow it for the week. We would then meet again to collect it, and then our team does all the proper sanitization of the equipment as well as the storage area. And that way everyone knows that it is clean, disinfected, and safe.
Reporting for Halton News, I'm Nikki Wesley.
Thanks for being with us here on Halton News. We do need to take a short break, but we'll be right back with a local psychiatrist on the importance of communication. Stay with us. Welcome back to Halton News. I'm Jessica Kading, and most of us have heard about the importance of communication, but every now and then we need a reminder that communication is more than verbal. Our body language communicates as well. Dr. Ashok Bhattacharya is a local psychiatrist who explains.
Hi, this is Dr. Ashok Bhattacharya speaking to you from the Empathy Clinic here in Oakville. So, today I want to talk about communication. 4 million years ago, a creature that stood on 2 legs roamed the planet. About 300,000 years ago, we came along as Homo sapiens, and about 50,000 years ago, we started to learn to use speech and language. That means for about 3,950,000 years, we've been using gestures with our hands and our faces and tone, i.e. the volume of our grunts and noises, to communicate everything that we wanted to communicate to each other. So I call that the packaging. Since we've invented speech, we've been able to have language in various forms and styles that can hopefully communicate how we think and feel about things. Now, if you think about speaking to someone as a package, then the way that you present your communication to them is surrounding the actual message inside. So let's see what's inside here. Yeah, just what I thought. Empathy. Now, if the package doesn't line up with the message inside, it's unlikely that your message is going to get across. So, when you're trying to communicate something to somebody, it could be someone at work, it could be a friend, a family member, or a loved one. Please pay attention to all the things that you're doing, maybe with your body, your hands, your face, your tone, that are not communicating what you're actually intending to communicate. Once you get those things lined up, the message inside and the packaging around it, that's when your communication is going to get across. So you give what you get, and if you give the right message, it's going to get across. Okay? Stay safe. See you next time.
Taking a look now at our local weather. It was not quite as nice out today as it has been. Here's a look from Bronny Pier. Taking a look now at our forecast, you can see that we'll be right back to it tomorrow. 31 degrees as our high. These temperatures are scorching, and the UV index will be extremely high all the way through the weekend. Full sunshine on Saturday, 33 degrees. There's a slight chance of rain on Sunday, otherwise a mix of sun and cloud with 32 degrees as our high. Then those clouds will roll back in for Monday and stay with us Tuesday. We're looking at a 60% chance of showers. The Flamborough Chamber of Commerce is pleased to announce that the Flamborough Open Annual Golf Tournament is back on. They invite you to join them September 23rd. If you're a member, you can vie for the Chamber Cup. The tournament will take place at Copetown Woods Golf Club. To register or become a sponsor, visit flamboroughchamber.ca. And now we'll look at some of how Halton's top companies performed on the markets today. We'll be back with news on how local seniors have been supporting the Burlington Food Bank. Stay with us. Our seniors recently received a top-up from the federal government due to COVID-19, and while some needed it, others opted to give it back to the community.
This is Robin Bailey, the Executive Director of the Burlington Food Bank, and we just want to take a little bit of time to thank all of the seniors here in Burlington that have donated the check that they got from the government for $300. We've had quite a few of them donate that and just let us know that they were paying it forward, and we really appreciate that they do that they think of us and think of their community. We ask also that all of us do the same thing, that we think of one another and continue to abide by the rules that are there for us to be able to sort of curb this virus in a way that we can get beyond it. Looking forward to us getting into stage 3 soon. The only way we do that is by sticking with this wearing our masks when we're in those places where we can't physically distance, making sure we continue to physically distance, and again, making sure that we're looking out for one another, whether it be staying safe in those ways or just checking in on one another to make sure that we're doing okay mentally and emotionally and having those great conversations to let each other know that we're thinking of one another.
I'd also like to remind you that the City of Burlington is hosting another Teletown Hall live right here tonight following our news program. They'll be live at 6 o'clock. You can call in and participate if you'd like to. To do so, you can call 1-800-410-5909. You can call in and participate, but you don't have to. You can also just watch and listen to all of the experts answer the questions that people call in and ask. We do need to end the show. We'll be back with another live edition. Again, stay tuned for that Teletown Hall if you'd like more information and you live in the city of Burlington. If you'd like more content, you can find us on yourtv.tv. We're also on social media on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. You can find us at yourtv Halton. If you have any questions or comments, you can email us at haltonnews@cogeco.com. For Halton News, I'm Jessica Kading, and I thank you for watching.